What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Dunk Talk Podcast, episode 54. My name is Dylan Haugen. I am the host. Hunter's not here today. We were both just in Florida. That's why we had no episodes for a while. But today, guys, Travis is back. We're going to be going through some of the stuff, that he's done since the last time he was on, and then we'll get into a recent injury that he had and some things that he learned from that injury, which I think is really valuable. So, Travis, introduce yourself. Then we'll get right to it, guys.
Yeah, so my name's Travis Reynolds. I'm a professional dunker. I'm trying to figure out what I've done since the last time I was actually on this podcast. I don't know if I've been here since I got the black band, so that's new.
Yeah.
Um, no, yeah, I don't really know what I've done since the last time I've been on here. I've got the black band. I've just been continuously trying to get better, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know last time you were here, we definitely talked about, your goals, and getting black band was one of them, and obviously
Hmm.
got that. So if you want to just kind of walk us through, your process and, just, having the goal to do that, and then obviously what you did to get there. And yeah.
Um, no, yeah, it was a long process. It wasn't easy. Obviously, those dunks are kind of very hard to like learn enough to the point where you can do them all in one session. Um, it just took a lot of reps, to be honest. There was a period of where it was just like week after week. I forget exactly how many weeks it took me to hit it, but I was just trying those dunks every single session, and every session I'd get stuck on one of them. I would find problems with one, and I would just have to constantly tweak my technique, study my technique, be like, okay, next session, I need to approach it this way. I need to make sure I'm doing this dunk this way so I can make it a little easier next time. It was just a lot of tweaking, and eventually the stars aligned, and I was able to get it. Very, very long and annoying process, but it was the payoff was very worth it. I feel like like obviously getting the black band is cool and all, but like the most important thing I got out of it was just the consistency to be a better dunker because like all those dunks are pretty much engraved in my head now. So on top of just kind of like getting the band, it was just a kind of great learning experience going forward. Taught me a lot about how to continuously improve not only those dunks, but what to look for when I'm trying to improve any dunk for that matter.
Yeah, for sure. Love that you pointed that out. What would you say the hardest dunk for you was out of those five to get
Oh, that's
like
interesting.
consistently?
Um, I feel like the most technical one was 360 behind the back. It got to a point where I kind of figured it out. I don't want to say it clicked because it's still a pretty difficult dunk, but as far as the technique goes, that's like definitely the hardest one in my opinion. And I remember there was a few sessions in particular where I literally just had to do 360 behind the back and I was home free and it just wouldn't go down a few times. So that's probably the hardest one. Other than that, maybe off the backboard East Bay because I just never really do off the backboard dunks, so the pass was kind of really weird. But yeah, 360 behind the back is just a very technically weird dunk for the way I have to do it with like left, right, right-handed, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like when I do that dunk on like 8 feet, it just feels like supernatural. And so I've kind of
Hmm.
just always figured like, oh, this will be, easy once I'm jumping decently high. And now like, I can like I've gotten semi close to 360 East Bay before, but like my 360 behind the back attempts are like laughable. So I
No,
don't know.
yeah, I don't know what it
It's
is because
like
I've
it's hard to jump high on that dunk. I don't know what it is, but
no, yeah, I'm right there with you because I've done it on the lower rim a few times, and I'm like, man, this is easy. And then I start trying it on like a max effort jump, and then I lose the ball, and I'm like, oh, I guess not. It's a weird
yeah.
one.
Yeah, super weird. I don't even know what happened first, your injury or Kilgannon coming to kind of stay with you. But obviously, Mr. Jordan Kilgannon came and stayed with you guys, dunked with you guys for a while. So
Hmm.
just kind of explain, you know, how that went and all that, since obviously you guys had plenty of sessions.
No, yeah. So Jordan did come down before the injury, and it was a lot of fun. Having Jordan there is always just it's always a lot of fun because like it obviously brings some more energy to the sessions. And on top of that, he's there to kind of just help us out. Um, like specifically Ben. Ben made so much progress recently while Jordan was there because he was able to look at every single thing Ben was doing, and Ben improved so much during that process. So yeah, whenever Jordan comes down, it's always a lot of fun. Always get to learn a lot from him, obviously, being who he is and whatnot. Lots of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Ben hitting that behind the back two reverse caught me so off guard. I did
Dude,
not expect
that
that.
that was crazy. Have you
Yeah.
heard kind of like how like the story behind that? What happened?
Nah, go ahead and tell me
Oh
that though.
my gosh, dude. So we were just at the Y. I was watching him dunk and he was wanting to work on two hand behind the back. And I noticed he was making kind of like clear mistakes with two hand behind the back going kind of like straight on. And I'm like, yo, why don't you just try it two hand reverse? I'm like, I promise you it'll be a lot easier. And he made it second try. Because if how he does his behind the back, he like does the Jordan method where he like pushes it and like gets under it, right? Whenever you do that and you're trying to go up to like face it on, how am I going to say this? Whenever you do that method and you have to go straight up to like two-hand it forward, it's not the same as his usual behind the back because he usually comes from the right wing and he just kind of like gets into this position, goes straight up and makes it. And obviously getting the ball to here and trying to go up with it straight on, it's going to be kind of awkward. But reverse two hand behind the back, it's literally his normal behind the back. And the only thing you have to do is just meet the other hand at the end. So I'm like, yo, try it. Second try. We couldn't believe it. It was awesome. I really hope he continues to do that dunk because dude, it's so
Nah,
cool.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
that is such a sick dunk. When he
it's such
posted
a
that he
rare
hit,
one too.
yeah, it is.
Love
That's
it.
that's exactly what I thought when I saw it. I was like, wow, like you do not see that very often. But yeah, he
Hmm.
posted on his story like hit another black band dunk or something like that, and my immediate thought was behind the back two hands. And then I was like thinking about it, and I was literally thinking the same thing, like, oh, that would look really weird, like the way he does it. But
Hmm.
yeah, that post is crazy. So that was super
No,
cool.
yeah, I was so happy for him when he made that. I couldn't believe it, dude. I didn't get to see it with my own two eyes because like I was filming it and I was kind of like looking down at my phone like this, trying to make sure I filmed it right. And then
Yeah.
I was pretty sure I saw it go in on the phone, and I'm like, wait, I'm like, did you just make that?
No, yeah, I hate like filming for that exact reason. Like
Hmm.
it's a lot better to just watch dunks, but
Yeah, because sometimes I'll be filming people while I'll be filming them while watching them, and I'm like, oh, I got to see it. That was a cool dunk. I look back down and I'm like, oh, that was the worst film job ever.
nah, yeah,
So
exactly.
luckily for that one, I was locked in.
Yeah. But to be fair, when you do like film it like with your hand or whatever, it does look better. And I've also
Hmm.
noticed that the videos like perform better a lot of the time. I don't know if that's just like coincidence, but I've definitely
No,
felt like it's
no,
weird.
there definitely is a relationship there between it doing better or worse depending on how it's filmed. I don't know how to explain the science behind it, but like, I mean, just think about if you're scrolling on TikTok and you see some like boring tripod video versus like a vertical 120 FPS iPhone camera just like on the target filming it. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like a lot more visually appealing, I guess. It
Oh
just
yeah, for
and
sure.
especially since you're like scrolling on TikTok and stuff, obviously, it's or it's vertical, so it's gonna be made to like be filmed vertically, if that makes sense. It's just all around better, I guess.
Yeah. That's why I always try to get people to do keyframes because like the next best thing from that is keyframes. If you guys
Hmm.
don't know what that is, go to my Haugen Media channel. I have a little tutorial for that, but it's literally just like when the camera moves with you, despite like just being a standstill tripod view or whatever. So
Hmm.
I definitely think that is slightly better, but yeah, handheld is definitely the way to go if you can do
Hmm.
that.
No, yeah, learning the keyframe was one of the most important things I ever learned.
Yeah.
Definitely do what Dylan says. Go to
Yeah.
his channel
And
and go to it and learn.
it's so easy too. Like once you learn
Hmm.
it for the first time, like the first time I like teach people to do it, like they're normally like not very good like first time, but after that it's just easy. Like
Hmm. No,
it's
yeah, and
not
it's
complex at all.
exactly. And once you learn it, it's a skill that's going to pay off for the rest of your dunk career. Might as well learn it now so
Easily.
you can start getting better content out there.
Yeah, especially because it adds a little bit of length to your videos too. Because if like you're just gonna start it like right when you go into frame, like realistically, dunk video is gonna take like 2 seconds. Whereas if
Hmm.
you are filming horizontal, you've got the whole court, and then you're running in whatever, like you get an extra 4-ish seconds. So yeah,
Yep.
super good just in general. But yeah. So obviously, like we said, guys, main topic of today is going to be offhand stuff because Travis hurt his finger or something. So just kind of explain to us like how that injury happened, diagnosis, what you had to do, and just yeah,
hmm Yeah, so the injury was honestly a very freak injury. Like, there's nothing I really could have done to prepare for it in any way, shape, or form. I was trying to learn push-off dunks. I don't do them very much. And I had the guy in the wrong spot. I had him too far
cheater.
away. Yeah, dude. I was trying to I literally got injured trying to cheat it up. But no, I had my dude too far away. So instead of like, jumping over him and being able to dunk it straight down the hoop, I was too far. So I dunked it really hard and I had to like throw it towards the back of the rim to kind of like make it rattle around. And unfortunately, while it was rattling around, it rattled straight into my finger very hard, bending it backward, damaging some tissue, and it was slightly out of position. Now, it wasn't technically a dislocation. I don't think it was bad enough to be considered one. They just said it was like a joint slippage, but yeah, it came a little bit out of position, got pretty swollen. Wasn't too fun. What was the other half of that question? Just kind of like what I was
Yeah,
doing
just
during
like
the
what
injury.
what what
So
they had you like do for it, like what the doctor told you to do basically, or
yeah,
whatever you had.
do I have my thing right here? Oh no, I thought I had my splint right here. Uh, that thing's gone. Wait, actually, here it is. All right. So throughout most of the injury, I was wearing a little thing that was just gonna keep my finger straight because to allow this thing to heal properly, instead of it being bent like it was kind of stuck being bent, I had to just keep it completely straight so it could recover in its natural alignment so it didn't come back like bent, does that make sense? I think it does.
Yeah, definitely.
But basically, I was just in this thing for 7 weeks. When I was dunking, I used a more protective one, just so, obviously if the ball hits it or something, I want it to be fully protected versus just like half protected. But the rehab process was honestly pretty straightforward. It was annoying because, I couldn't really use my right hand for anything, but I just had to keep it straight for like 7 weeks, let it do its thing. And towards the end of that process, I had to like kind of start strengthening it. I bought these like finger extension and flexion trainers off Amazon. So I could train it bending this way into extension. And so I could train like bending forward into flexion just to kind of like reactivate and adapt those tissues that were damaged in the first place, just so I could come back a little bit faster, I guess, get it ready to kind of do whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much the main outline main outline of the injury, I guess.
Yeah, it's actually hilarious that you got hurt doing it.
Dude, every time I jump over someone, it's the end of the world. Okay?
Oh yeah, the one you
Like
jumped over killed Galen and laid on your face.
no, no, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that was the last push off dunk I did before the finger day.
That's the last
I
one I remember seeing.
no,
Yeah.
yeah. So like every time I go for push off, something bad happens. In Canada, I'm like, yeah, let's do a quick couple of push offs to end the session. I want to get better at them. I went up over Jordan and like I messed up something and I just wanted to do a one hander, but since I messed up, my body naturally did two hands, fell right off the rim, almost got injured in like 10 different ways. And I stopped doing push offs for like I guess well over a year. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah,
let's learn it again. It was literally like the second push off dunk I did. I'm like, yay, this
yeah, it's
this is
hilarious.
awesome.
Also, not that I'm encouraging you guys to go and do push-off dunks, but if you are doing a double up and you do not want to break your finger like this guy did, always put the guy closer than you think he needs to be. Like you think they need to be really far away, and then like you just miss. So I don't know. Put them way
hmm
closer than you think they need to be because you're not like especially on push off dunks, maybe not so much for like actual clearing the dude, but like if you're jumping up and pushing off, like you're going like straight up. You're not really going out very much. So
hmm What
yeah,
he said. Don't be
yeah,
like me.
yeah, exactly. So obviously, like we said, you were out basically for 7 weeks. Your right hand anyway. So just
hmm
kind of walk us through like what your plan was for those 7 weeks regarding, dunking, and then obviously how they went.
hmm I mean, the goal stayed the same throughout those 7 weeks. Like my goal is to always just be the best dunker I can be. And if you take my right hand away from me, it's like, okay, well, that leaves my left hand. Now, the difference between my left and right hand is extremely large. Like with my right hand, I've gotten the black band. I've hit some pretty crazy dunks with it, and it's literally just been the hand that I've only used my entire career. And to go from kind of being the dunker I am with my right hand to like struggling to make one-handers and just the simplest of dunks because of a lack of coordination, it was a really kind of it was a big change, but it was a very important thing that I think needed to happen one way or another at some point in my career. Because as someone who considers himself a pro, I need to be a pro with my right and left hand. Because like, let's say I had an event coming up and I messed up my right hand. It's like, okay, well, now you can't dunk with your left hand. What are you gonna do? So literally, I just made it my main goal to work on my left hand as much as possible through the injury. I was low rimming pretty much every single day, focusing on just training the coordination with my left hand. I even taught myself how to shoot with a like to shoot a basketball with my left hand a little bit because I'm like, dude, if I don't even have the coordination to control the basketball in any way, shape, or form, how am I supposed to kind of learn new dunks with it? You know what I mean? So I just did literally everything in my power to train everything when it came to my left hand. Um, 7 weeks later. My left hand, it's still not the greatest, but I'm honestly very happy with the progress I made during those 7 weeks because I went from like being inconsistent with windmills to punching windmills. I got my first lefty East Bay, and I also trained like how to do a left-handed scorpion quite a bit because, just training yourself to scorpion, it's a big coordination thing, just being able to like kind of control the ball behind you when you're not looking. And I feel like that opens the door for a lot of dunks. So yeah, I just did literally everything in my power to make my left hand as good as possible during that process.
Yeah, I really like the point you made about, if you're a true pro dunker and you're at an event and like you cannot use your right hand for whatever reason, like and you're forced to use your left hand, that's not the way I've thought about it before. I was always thought like, well, if you want to do, like especially like the Kilgan video on Hoop Mixtape or whatever, where he does like 100 different dunks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was thinking. I was like, well, like some of these are with your left hand, like you can do just more variations and stuff with your left.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like that point because I'm totally in the same situation. Like if I got called out to do an event or something like that, and then I showed up and broke my right hand for whatever reason, like it would be very bad. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can windmill, like that's it. So like you said, it's big discrepancy. I also I like the shooting form thing you said, like just doing something with your left hand. And
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that a lot, like during the periods of time where I have worked on my left hand, which I guess I can get into later. I've definitely done the same thing. Just like do everything with your left hand because even like something as simple as like eating dinner, just like with holding your fork with your left hand, it like
Mm-hmm.
feels so weird. And it's like, imagine like if you're ambidextrous or whatever, like how much more control over just like both sides of your body you have. Like, even if it has nothing to do with dunking, it's just like doing little things that like can coordinate your brain to like understand like the other side of your body or whatever. I feel like would be really helpful. So that's a really good point. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so obviously, like you said, you worked on your left hand a lot. What would you say like some of your, tips or like things you've learned for people like that you'd give to people if they were like wanting to work on their offhand?
I mean, the biggest thing is you literally just have to get started. And probably you're gonna have to do a little bit more work than you're anticipating because like I've trained my left hand before. Like it's not the first time I've ever tried dunking with my left hand. I've made like lefty behind the backs and stuff before. So I'm like, okay, my left hand's not too bad. Okay, well, completely take away the right hand and see how bad it gets. I've never dedicated full sessions to my left hand before, and I realized just how terrible it was, even though I already thought I was practicing it before. So, I mean, for anyone who wants to work on their offhand, you just have to like get the reps in as much as you possibly can. Like there would be sessions where I would go into it thinking I improved, and then I would come out of there having the worst session ever. And there was a handful of times after that happened, I just went home and low rimmed for like another hour or two. I'm like, dude, I'm still trash. I have to get better at this hand. So
When you
it's
say lower
literally
rimming,
just
are you talking about
like
like
without
standing?
jumping. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
without jumping. But no, yeah, this the ultimate rule is reps. Just do. do a million reps and do a million more reps. I don't know. Just just do as much as he possibly can. Because that's ultimately kind of what got my left hand to be somewhat competent, is just after enough reps, it slowly started to feel somewhat coordinated. Because I like what you said earlier. You said like even just holding like a fork at dinner with your left hand, it feels awful. Now imagine trying to dunk with your left hand. Like it doesn't even feel like it's my arm doing the dunking. Like the ball gets to my left arm and it just feels like it's not even mine. It's just like, okay, let's see if I get lucky enough for this to go in. That's the only way to train that is to do something a million times, trying to overwrite that feeling to make it seem like you're actually in control. So just reps, reps, reps.
Yeah, definitely. I think when I do left-hand dunks, the main thing isn't even like the dunk itself. Like let's just say you're doing it between legs or whatever. Like my body knows how to do it between legs dunk. It's like
Hmm.
grabbing the ball and like almost every single left-hand dunk that I do, like I'm bringing the ball towards the rim, but it's like I'm fumbling it the entire way there. Like it's not like when I do a between legs with my right hand or behind the back or literally any dunk, like I put the ball between my legs, it like sticks into my right hand and then it goes all the way to the rim and like finishes through. Like there's no there's no doubt about like having the ball in my hand. And when it comes to the left hand, like even basic dunks, like windmills, I'll sometimes be like barely holding it and then just dunking it with like my
Hmm.
palm, no fingers involved. Like it's just, you know, it doesn't make any sense. So yeah. Have you done like a lot of palming stuff with your left hand? Because I know you do like palming drills for your right.
Um, it was something I started working on a lot more after I injured my right hand. Like I've always been able to palm with my left hand, but like not in a way that's gonna allow me to like really go all out on a jump while palming it. Like I would definitely lose it. So throughout the entire process, I just kind of did the palming drills to kind of just make it where I could hold the ball. It definitely paid off because like by the end of it, I felt just a lot more comfortable going off the dribble with my left hand palming, doing like reverse 360s off the dribble and whatnot. I think it was definitely an important thing to learn.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, if you guys are trying to do that, it helps a lot with not just like going up and palming the ball and dunking, but being able to palm the ball is like almost crucial for like a lot of dunks. Like I know we always kind of say like, well, you don't actually need to palm the ball. It's not necessarily like the act of palming the ball that you need to do. Like I'm not going between my legs and then like palming the ball and like bringing it up to the rim, but it's like having that like hand and finger strength to like grab the ball and control it all the way up is really
Hmm.
what matters. So obviously you're training that with every single rep that you do, whether it's low arming or actually
Hmm.
dunking. So yeah. Um, Obviously I always tell people like if you're going into a session, like you want to like try new stuff, obviously, but you also don't want to like just waste the entire session like not being close at all. And that's why you should do like, hand speed, low rim so that when you go into sessions, it's not like it's the first time you've touched a ball in a week, basically.
Hmm.
Obviously you said you did low rim stuff or, standing low rim or just ball handling in general. So just kind of walk us through like what that means to you, what you're doing, and then just the goals that you're trying to accomplish while doing that.
Yeah, so whenever I low roamed with my left hand, I pretty much just tried to replicate the exact feeling that I would get as if I was actually jumping. So a lot of how I'd mess up during an actual jump is I would lose control of the ball kind of last second. I would back rim it, just lose control enough where I can't put it down. I would put it on the top of the rim. I just didn't have the control to actually put it down through the rim. So one of the main focuses I had during the entire low rim kind of arc, I guess, is I would literally just throw it off the backboard to myself and catch it back here like a slingshot. And then my only goal was to just dunk it as hard as I possibly could with my left. And I feel like that trained a lot because, like again, one of my main reasons I suck on my left is the coordination. I just don't have I don't have the knowledge in this hand to just be able to grab the ball and dunk it with like my right. So I was just training my ability to just stay on top of the ball and finish it as best as I could. The same thing applied to like other dunks, not just one-handers. Like if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to do like a self-bounce windmill or something, I would like bounce the ball off the ground. I would do my arm swing, obviously without jumping. I would grab it just like how I do it in the air, just so I can replicate that exact feeling. And that's pretty much how I low rim everything. If you're trying to work on a certain dunk, you have to make it feel exactly like the dunk would feel in the air. Because a lot of mistakes I see with people doing low rim stuff like that is they don't recreate how the dunk actually feels in the air. Because, the main goal you're trying to achieve by low rimming is the you're trying to create muscle memory that's going to transfer straight from the ground to the air. You know what I mean? So you have to replicate exactly what you do on the ground, in the air, and vice versa, and that's how it ultimately comes together. So literally just everything I did to my left on the low rim was translating to what I wanted to see in my sessions, basically.
Yeah, I really like that. I also like how you pointed out like the max effort thing. And I think one thing that a lot of people forget is like they'll do the motion max effort, but then they'll get to the rim and they'll slow down and like make sure to like put it in
Hmm.
all softly and whatever. And it's like when you're doing these dunks, like you said, it has to be realistic because if you want to create the same stimulus that you're getting on a dunk that you're doing in the air, you have to do the exact same thing on the ground, and that includes finishing the dunk. Um, so yeah, make sure to finish like super fast through the rim downwards.
Hmm.
And if you miss, it doesn't really matter because that's literally the entire point of it. So like don't like be so worried about making the dunk on the ground that like you end up like slowing down and like making it super unrealistic to what you'd actually do in a
Hmm.
session. Make everything realistic, and if you're missing, that just means you got to do it more. Do it until you can make it full speed, motion and finish on the ground, and then you'll be able to do it in the air, hopefully.
Hmm.
I
Oh
think
yeah.
one thing that I did when I was doing like standing low arm stuff with my left hand, still do it occasionally, but like you said, just like try to dunk it as hard as you can because I noticed that, a lot of people will ask like, "Oh, that has to hurt or whatever," like if they're not like in the dunking space when you're like dunking or whatever. And a lot of the time I'm like, "No, like elbows, regular one-handers, like they really don't hurt that much for me."
Hmm.
Unless something like weird happens, like, try to double up from too far away, break my finger in half. But
Not optimal, that's for sure.
definitely not optimal. But yeah,
But
it's
no,
like, and the only reason for that is just because I've done it so many times, and I don't, I'm not qualified to speak on like the science behind it or whatever, but like, you'd think that if you hurt yourself so many times in the same spot, it would just get stronger eventually. And I feel like
oh
that's what's
yeah.
happened.
Your
So,
body builds up tolerance for it, for sure.
exactly. And I noticed that even while doing standing lower arm with my left hand does not have that same pain tolerance. So like even just a basic, like I would just like grab the rim and just like rip my hand like all around the thing, like just to like create like a pain stimulus because it hurts so much more. So like I don't know. I don't know if that there's anything behind that, but that's what I was doing. I was just trying to hurt my left hand as much as possible on the dunks that I was doing.
Wait, so you just grab the rim and you're just going
That that
crazy on
was
it?
that was something that I did occasionally, yes. But
That's so
no.
funny. I've never thought about that. But no, yeah, your body definitely builds tolerance for it. My right hand, it's like indestructible. I can do anything to this hand
Oh
besides,
yeah.
putting up besides dunking a ball straight into my pinky. I can't do that. But anything
Yeah,
else like
apparently not.
dunking, elbows, this thing feels nothing. Like I've
Yeah,
probably already
bro.
killed all the nerves in it. It feels nothing. My
Yeah.
left hand, however, it's like excruciating, but I did notice over the course of those 7 weeks, there definitely is a slightly higher pain tolerance on this side now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you just gotta kind of expose yourself to that stress. And like Dylan said, you have to, low rim with that max effort, dunk it as hard as you can. Don't be scared to use your effort. Like whenever I got done low rimming, I had marks all over my arm. Like I
Yeah,
I treated it like an actual dunk session. Yeah,
exactly.
very very important that you do that if you want the right
Yeah.
stimulus.
I love what Dylan McCarthy did recently. He basically did like a slingshot with his right arm and just like hammered it into the hoop.
Dude,
Like,
did you
that's
see a
hilarious.
story from I think it was yesterday? He just hung in the rim with his elbow for like a minute straight. Dude, that killed me. Just
That was so funny.
imagine being
I
like
watched
the
the whole thing
janitor.
too, bro.
No, yeah, like imagine being like a janitor for that school or something, and you just walk in and you just you just see a kid on the other side just chilling like this. Like
Yeah,
what's
bro.
going
I
on
don't
there?
even know. It's so funny.
Dude, he's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, he's hilarious. But yeah, um, so like I said, I kind of did the same thing as you. Like I spent quite a while doing like left hand stuff, and the first week that I like did a left hand lower arm session, like entirely left hand lower arm session, I had to cut it short because I don't know what happened, but like my quad just got like super sore out of nowhere. My left quad, because I feel like I like plant differently than I do right-handed because obviously,
Mm-hmm.
takeoff angle is just very different. Like
Yeah, I
I'm
can see
way more
that.
like this way into the rim, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. Did
No,
you
yeah,
did you have anything like that or not really?
no, yeah, it definitely felt like that because like it didn't feel like I was jumping the same when I was trying to do a left hand dunk. Like I feel like the like you said, the takeoff position might be a little different. I just wasn't getting as high because I wasn't used to that takeoff angle. It definitely felt a little unnatural. Like throughout the entire process, I never knew how well I was jumping because I couldn't do the usual dunks from the same specific angles that I usually use to test how high I'm jumping. So it felt very off in that entire timeline just because of that. Exactly what you mentioned there. Takeoff angle could be
Yeah,
different, stuff like that.
exactly. Because a lot of the time you're probably like starting at the same spot from the 3-point line or whatever, but then you're like more turned on the actual
Mm-hmm.
dunk or your plant or whatever. So yeah.
100%, yeah.
But like we mentioned with, the pain tolerance thing or anything else, the week after and even the week after that of like doing left hand dunks, like I felt nothing. Like it felt normal. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
once again, if you're wanting to work on, something new, you just got to do it for a session. Like you might mess something up, but like chances are you're just gonna get used to it. Like a lot of times very quickly. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's super, super cool. So obviously, just let's just compare like week 1 to week 7 of you, with only your left hand. What was kind of like week 1 like? What were the dunks you were doing? How did it feel? And then just compare that to weeks or like just your best dunks throughout the entire 7 weeks. But yeah,
No, yeah. Week one was ugly. And obviously I had people in North Carolina who can be my witness for that. Jordan got to watch me just take like 5 attempts to do a windmill with my left hand, first hand. It was awful. Um, that's kind of how session one went, just struggling to make simple things because again, no coordination. I had to figure out I had to figure out how it felt to dunk. Like actually, like completely from the ground up. And then by the end of it, I finally started to feel a little bit more confident with my left hand. I had I had a session indoors. I hit my first lefty East Bay. That session definitely felt like a breakthrough for my left hand. I I don't know if it's my best lefty windmill. It was one of them. I had one where I just punched it straight down, and I'm like, oh, that actually felt really nice. The East Bay went down relatively quick. The Scorpion took just a couple of tries, and then I did I wanted to do a reverse 180 Scorpion, but I spun too much, and it just ended up being like a reverse 360 sweep or something. But none of those dunks really took that many attempts. So that session just felt amazing. It finally felt like, some work of my left hand finally paid off. Um, I guess the main difference between the starting sessions week one versus the ending sessions towards the end of that 7 week process is just things got a lot more consistent. I just finally figured out kind of what it felt like to do those dunks with the hand, and I was kind of finally able to show that.
yeah. I know another dunk you hit was the 360 reverse windmill. Had you done that before that 7 weeks or no?
Yeah, yeah. So I've made that dunk a couple of times, but before the hand injury. But one of my main goals throughout the hand injury was to just kind of touch up on that dunk because that's probably the best dunk I can do with my left hand as of right now. So I'm like, might as well use this time period to work on it a little bit. And I definitely made a lot of progress on it. I'm still not very good at that dunk, but I've discovered a lot of things that I can kind of use to continue getting better at it. It's not a dunk that I want to stop doing. Like I might be able to dunk righty again right now, but reverse 360 windmill, I feel like it's just such a cool looking dunk style wise. It's something that I still want to get much better at and keep working on. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I like that one a lot.
Hmm.
Um, so obviously you just got back to dunking with your right hand. I'm pretty sure you only had like one session so far, right?
Yeah, yeah, just one session.
You're dunking tomorrow?
Yeah,
Nice,
actually am.
nice, nice. So kind of walk us through like kind of how that first session back went. Obviously I mean, I was assuming that it was not going to be great, obviously, since you hadn't really dunked, obviously, with your right hand for that long, but I know you were kind of doing a little bit with it. So yeah, just kind of walk us how the recovery process went and then that first session back.
No, yeah. So, like, as far as the recovery process went, like, I was slowly getting cleared to come out of the splint because when you're in the splint for any extended period of time, the finger gets incredibly stiff. Like right now, it feels like my normal finger before the injury. But if I left this thing in here all night without being able to move the finger, it's going to get incredibly stiff. The tissues are going to tense up, and I'm going to lose mobility. So by the end of the process, I was actually coming out of the splint for most of the days. And, leading up to that session, um, I was like pretty much splint free for a while, so that, it felt pretty normal. And, obviously before that session, I was wearing like this protective finger splint to all my sessions. And that day, I'm like, you know what? The finger feels relatively okay. It feels just like its old self. I'm gonna dunk without the splint today. I got to the court and I just started dunking with it and it felt fine. Though there was nothing really wrong with it. If I felt like any pain or anything, I definitely would have stopped and went back to lefty, but I just kind of slowly coasted into it and it went amazing. Like you said, I definitely thought there would be some problems going into that session. I didn't think it would be all sunshine and rainbows, but I ended up surprising myself and I had a pretty good session.
Yeah, definitely. That 360 East Bay caught me off guard for sure.
It caught me off guard, dude. I didn't I dude, that was by far my best 360 East Bay, and I did it off the dribble. Like,
Short approach too. Or is that a
no,
short
yeah.
approach for you? It looked like.
No, it was. It was I made it in warm-ups. Like
Yeah.
not only did I like work on my left hand throughout the process, but like I've been notoriously known as being an overweight dunker for a while. Like when I got the black band, I was like 185 pounds, 186 pounds, and for my height being 6 feet, that's really heavy. I think Isaiah weighs like 184. That could be misinformation, but all I know is I was averaging heavier weights than Isaiah, and Isaiah is 10 times stronger than me. It's not even remotely close. So like it's just unhealthy mass on me. So during that entire recovery process, I'm like, okay, let's just like actually get to a healthy weight for once. And I'm down like 7 pounds, and I definitely think that translated to that session because I'm at my strongest ever right now with a healthy weight. And I think that usually translates really well to like off the dribble dunks. And I was just warming up and I did a 360 windmill, just kind of like walking up, and I'm like, yo, that felt insane. And I'm like, let's try 360 East Bay. It's not that much different than it. The first attempt, it was like literally on top of the rim. I just jumped too far, kind of like forward, I guess. The second one, I just went straight up and destroyed it. Couldn't believe it.
That's wild.
Yeah, so I didn't expect that in a million years for my first session back, but I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. 360 on both tomorrow.
I do want to do that one. It's gonna come whenever the time's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like another reason I didn't expect last session is because like I'm back on another training cycle. Like I didn't expect to even jump high last session because of the training cycle. So, I'm a little deeper into that cycle now, so I don't know how I'm gonna jump tomorrow, but once I'm having more good jumping days, I'd love to go for it.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing that I struggle the most on 360 East Base is like I'll go up and I'll like I don't even know how to explain it, but like I'll do like the first half of it like completely straight up, but then like
Hmm.
as I'm finishing it, I'll like basically dunk it like this. I'm trying to think. So if like you're looking from like the top of the key, like my body will be like falling to the left if I'm like facing forward. I don't even know. It's like I
Trying
don't
to
know,
think
dude.
why that would be. I mean, you could just be using too much speed in your approach, maybe.
That's possible. I actually
Because
do think it might
I,
be
I I
it.
slowed down my second attempt last session, and that's the one I made. The first attempt, I literally probably did what you did. I kind of like started fading away, and I was just
Yeah.
going too fast, probably. The second one, I just focused going more straight up, and I made it. So could
Yeah.
slow it down just a hair and focus on really going more straight up and see what it does for you.
Yeah, for sure. I think I already told you, but I'm probably just gonna start wasting time or not wasting time during sessions, but you know, not making any dunks, just going for stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just
I'll probably try that quite a bit tomorrow, but we'll see.
oh yeah, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, bro. I've been like super close on like 9 and 3/4 before, which is
Mm-hmm.
like obviously low, but not like 9.9 low. So we'll see.
Hmm.
I don't know how close I'll be on a actual rim, but I don't know. It's super weird.
You
Off
never
dribble
know.
dunks are day to day for me, bro. I
Hmm.
literally never know.
That's how I feel, dude. It's something I want to work on because I feel like off the
Yeah,
dribble dunks, like they're so good. Like they can be so consistent because you don't have to worry about throwing a lob or anything.
exactly.
Like even for me, like self bounce is a lot more consistent than regular lobs for me. But off the dribble, you don't have to do anything with the ball. You just carry
Yeah,
it pretty much. So no, it's so important. I definitely want to continue working on my off the dribble soon.
yeah. Especially, contests. You generally want to do like handoff,
Hmm.
dribble, or push off, basically. You know,
Yep.
imagine like throwing a lob and then going and doing like a 360 scoop or like a one hand catch behind the back in a contest. Like that's gonna be
Yeah,
difficult.
no, like
So
I've watched a lot of dunkers like just mess up in contests and shows and stuff because they're just trying to do a lob. When I know they can do it so well off the dribble, I'm like, just do it. Just do it off the
yeah,
dribble, please.
yeah, exactly. Especially with like, every court is different. A lot of the show courts and contest courts are weird. And if you're, doing
Hmm.
FIBA, then you're using a different size ball with like weird grooves and all that. So who knows? Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely good to learn. But
100%.
But yeah, I mean, I think we got through a lot. Do you have anything else you want to say about offhand dunks and their importance for pro dunkers?
Um, I feel like I covered pretty much everything. If yeah, yeah, I think we're good there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just to summarize, guys, like if you're a dunker and you are not good with your offhand, which you most likely are not, we are definitely not yet. So yeah, definitely something to work on. It's pretty easy and it's pretty rewarding because it's kind of like starting over from scratch. Like you can see a lot of progress really quick. Especially if you're like doing stuff on low rims. You can just unlock a ton of new dunks in one session. So it's really fun. Can be really frustrating, but like we said, really rewarding and very important if you want to be a pro dunker. So yeah, if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, do all that stuff. Leave a comment. What you want us to talk about next? Travis, where can these guys find you?
I'm on everything at Travis Dunks, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And there's one more thing I want to say actually.
I
So
go for
a
it.
lot of the times when I talk to people about coming back from an injury, they're worried that when they come back from the injury, it's going to be the end of the world. They're going to suck. They're not going to be their self anymore, and that's never the case.
Literally never.
Um, like whenever I came back from my right hand injury, the session was amazing. Like I said, best 360 East Bay I've done yet. It felt just like it felt just like normal when I was out for 7 weeks with that hand. The muscle memory is not going to go anywhere during your injury. I don't care what injury you have. The years that you have spent working on that muscle memory is not going to go away just because you got injured.
Hmm.
I've been injured for like 6 months at a time before with a back injury. I just went through 7 weeks of this, and every single time I come out of it stronger because it's not the end of the world. You just got to find a way to work on things and improve while you're injured, so that way you can just come out of it a better dunker. I've seen a lot of pro dunkers have horrible injuries and they come out of it even better because it's not the end of the world. Um, Injuries suck. Sometimes they can be awful, but I truly believe with the right mindset, you can come back from any injury better than you were before. You just have to kind of be like, what can I learn from this? How can I move forward with this? What can I do to be better when I come back from this? And yeah, I just wanted to say that because a lot of people reach out to me about kind of like worrying about their injuries, and I'm like, it's not the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be patient, trust the process, find a way to get better by the end of it. That's all you
Yeah.
got to do.
'Cause I know Dan has been through like tons of injuries, and I've literally never seen him have a bad session. So, you know,
No, he's going through it, but he's finally starting to get healthy again. It's
that's
been a
great. Yeah.
it's been a slow process, but oh man, I cannot wait to see him get back to his highest ever, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Like
He's one of
I've
my favorite
seen,
ones to watch for sure.
dude, I've seen pretty much every dunker, like every modern day dunker in their prime or close to it. Prime Dan is something else. Definitely one of my favorite guys to see in person whenever he's, jumping really high because it's messed up to watch.
Yeah.
He's
I had
so good when
one
he's in his prime, dude.
I had one connection, but oh yeah. And like you said, for the injury thing, if you're going through an injury, like you said, like you're more than likely going to come back fine. There might be a little bit of a learning curve or whatever coming back. Like you're probably not going to be your best like the first session, but
Mm-hmm.
like he said, like doing those little things, like whatever it may be, like palming drills or standing lower him, like whatever your body is capable of doing that you were previously doing, continue to do that because there's almost like no matter what injury it is, there's almost always something you can do. So like just go and do it. Work on whatever you
Mm-hmm.
can, especially if it's a weakness for you, because like you said, you're still gonna have that muscle memory. So if you can work on something new, that's even better. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. Worst case scenario, you come back and you have to dust some rust off. It won't
yeah,
take that long.
yeah, it won't
Just
take long.
yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, guys. I think we went over a lot of valuable information in this. So if you guys learn anything, make sure to, share some of your takeaways. Let us know what else you want to hear us discuss. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.